What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, in today's video, we are talking about Solana as it is on the brink of a massive move again, and I want you guys to be as prepared as possible. So let's not waste any time at all, and let's get straight into today's video. Now, looking at Solana, we have a very clear picture of what is playing out right now, and I'm not liking that picture at this point. So what we can see is that over the last few days entering into November, or the last few weeks entering into November, things were not looking too bad, right? We, of course, put in a nice little 5-wave to the top side. Of course, we had wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, all the way to the top side. And we are now seeing a bit of a correction and a pullback off of that 5th wave up. Pretty normal things, right? We can see yesterday we did have the Fed meeting that did start to send this thing immediately up, then immediately down. The reason this did happen was because whenever the Fed released the minutes, they actually started to seem a little bit more dovish, or they actually just seemed as if they were going to be moving in a better position with this thing, right? That things may be opening up here soon. And so, of course, that did start to send the market on a bit of a rally. But in the meeting, some of the wordage in the way that Jerome Powell was articulating, certain aspects of the economy, people then took that as hawkish and bearish, and basically that they were going to continue to hone down on this thing and that they weren't pivoting anytime soon, which did cause this huge candle wick that we saw right here. So now that we have seen this move to the top side, this move to the bottom side, what has this created? Well, looking at this thing, we can very clearly see what is forming, and that looks to me to be a head and shoulders pattern after a 5th wave to the top side. This is one of the more bearish patterns that you're going to see because, again, we had a full 5-wave to the top side. So this usually is followed by a correction. But considering the fact that the correction is now forming a pattern that is so typically bearish, that could mean that we could see a further crash to the downside, which in this position does look like a possible loss all the way of roughly about $4, which could look like anywhere between, 10 to 11% in falls here and in losses. And so for that reason, it is very important that we monitor this. It wouldn't be a surprise, though, to see how this is playing out structurally, because if we do zoom out on the daily charts, that puts us in perfect position to come revisit the bottom side of this bearish pennant that we've been in. Remember, I have been extremely cautious with Solana recently, because typically these little pennants will break to the downside. Now, I'm not saying it has to, and I'm not saying it definitely will, but more often than not, they do. And so considering the fact that we are now in a position to see a structural breakdown target that puts us directly on this bottom side here, we have to, pay attention to it. We have to watch it very closely, because structurally, this could play out even within the next week or so. So looking at this, the way in which we do manage this is just watching this $30.25 level. Let's actually move this down a little bit just in case. Let's move it down to, let's call it $30.20. While we're above $30.20, we're looking okay? We're looking decently fine. Now, if we do lose $30.20, this is what I'm expecting to happen, so be on the lookout for it. What I think would happen is that if we lose 30.25, we're going to come down immediately to 29.47, right into the 618 to 786 Fibonacci zone. My guess is that we would bounce and start to look to retest this little neckline that we have on this head and shoulders pattern, like this. You know what I'm actually going to go ahead and do? I'm going to give you guys a full head and shoulders pattern here. So left shoulder, head, right shoulder would be, something like this, right? So if we bounce off of this zone, I would assume we would come back up to retest this neckline here. If we successfully retest it and we start to see some growth, we may be out of the woods here, okay? It might have just been a fake out. These do fake out every now and then, and we could be in a good position to see some growth once we clear 33. But if this retest fails and we see a rejection off of this neckline, I would very highly start to expect us to come revisit somewhere around this $27 level, which again can be a fall of anywhere up to 10%. You need to be aware of this, and you need to monitor this very closely, because this is exactly how I think it would play out. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't see the future. I don't know what's going to happen. But what I've noticed from monitoring this market for 2 years is that this is what happens more often than not in this situation, okay? Now, we do have a bit of a saving grace. There is something that is happening right now that could be a good sign to show that we may avoid this just a little bit. We may avoid this. And what that is exaggerated bullish divergence. So what we can see is that we put in a low and we put in the equivalent low here. Now, on the RSI itself, on the 4-hour chart specifically, we put in a low and a lower low. This divergence, this difference is called exaggerated bullish divergence. And what it says is that this RSI is resetting and the indicators themselves are allowing themselves the room to the upside to see some growth. So there is an opportunity here for us that as long as we do not fall below this level, again, $30.20, that we could see a bounce towards the upside. And this could be something, maybe more of a bullish flag or something of that nature. But again, it comes down to us making a move above this level and not losing 30.20. Okay, so with that said, guys, pay very, very, very close attention to how this plays out, because it is going to be extremely, extremely beneficial or detrimental to our portfolios if this bounces 10% or if it crashes 10%. But I do believe one of those is coming, and it's coming very soon. Now, obviously, I'm saying it's either going to go up or it's either going to go down. And that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm preparing you for both outcomes. But in this outcome, in this situation, 30.20 is the deciding factor. So watch it very, very closely. But with that said, guys, that is going to be about it for today's video. Of course, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, you can always let me know easily and simply by smashing the like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new. And I will see you all next time. Peace.